wondered how the Roman Praetorian Guard, elite protectors of the emperor, were selected? These were no ordinary soldiers. They were the embodiment of strength, courage, and above all, unwavering loyalty to the emperor. The Praetorian Guard was comprised of Roman citizens, not just any citizen, mind you. These were men of exceptional physical prowess and unyielding fidelity. The selection process was not a simple one. It was designed to be rigorous and demanding, to filter out those who were less than the best. Candidates for the Praetorian Guard were hand-picked. They needed to stand out not just for their physical abilities, but also for their loyalty. You see, the Praetorian Guard was entrusted with the life of the emperor. They were his personal bodyguards, his shield against any threat. And so, loyalty was valued above all. If there was even a hint of doubt about a candidate's loyalty, they would not make the cut. The physical requirements were just as stringent. The Praetorian Guard were the emperor's frontline defense. They needed to be able to withstand anything that came their way. Candidates had to be in peak physical condition, capable of enduring grueling marches, harsh weather, and of course, fierce battles. They were expected to be stronger, faster, and more resilient than their counterparts in the regular Roman legions. The selection process was intense, to say the least. It was designed to test the mettle of the candidates to push their limits. It was a process that left no room for mediocrity. Only those who proved themselves worthy, who demonstrated exceptional loyalty and superior physical abilities, were chosen. And so, from the vast pool of Roman citizens, a select few were chosen to join the ranks of the Praetorian Guard. They were the best of the best, hand-picked to protect the most powerful man in Rome. That's the selection process, rigorous and meticulous, aiming to create a formidable protective force. So they've been selected. But what came next for these future guards? Quite simply, the making of a Praetorian Guard was no easy feat. It was an endeavor that demanded grit, resilience, and a steely nerve. Once selected, these prime specimens of Roman citizenry were thrust into a world of rigorous military training. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill soldiering, oh no. The Praetorian Guard training was an intense, specialized regime with a laser focus on close combat. These soldiers were being prepared for the worst-case scenarios, the close-quarters battles that could decide the fate of the emperor they were sworn to protect. Imagine the scene, the training grounds alive with the sounds of steel clashing against steel, the grunts of men pushing their bodies to the limits, the harsh commands of the training officers echoing in the air. This was a place where men were molded into guards, honed into the perfect protectors of the imperial person. But it wasn't just about physical training. There was a mental aspect to it as well. These men were trained to think on their feet, to make split-second decisions in the heat of battle. They were taught to be as sharp in their minds as they were with their swords. And speaking of swords, let's delve a little into the equipment of the Praetorian Guard. Unlike the regular legionaries, the Praetorians were decked out in the finest gear Rome had to offer. They boasted distinctive armor that set them apart, a silent testament to their elite status. Their weapons, too, were a cut above the rest. From their sturdy shields to their razor-sharp swords, every piece was designed for maximum efficiency and durability. This was not a role for the faint-hearted or the ill-prepared. It demanded the best, and in turn, provided the best. The Praetorian Guard was a force to be reckoned with, a force that stood as the bulwark between the emperor and any who dared threaten him. Thus they were prepared, physically and mentally, with state-of-the-art equipment to boot. Now, these weren't just any bodyguards. The Praetorian Guard played a much larger role. These elite soldiers, handpicked for their loyalty and physical prowess, were not confined to the shadows of the emperor. They were the emperor's trusted confidants, his eyes and ears within the city of Rome. Their duties stretched far beyond the physical protection of the emperor. They were a vital cog in the intelligence network of Rome. Acting as spies, they kept their fingers on the pulse of the city, gathering information and observing potential threats. They had a hand in policing Rome, maintaining order in the heart of the empire. But their influence didn't stop there. The Praetorian Guard had a significant role in shaping the political landscape of Rome itself. They were uniquely positioned to exert influence over imperial succession. In fact, at times they were the kingmakers, often deciding who would ascend to the throne. Emperors knew well the importance of keeping the Praetorians on their side, for it was not uncommon for a guard's allegiance to sway the balance of power. Take, for instance, the year of the four emperors in 69 AD. The Praetorian Guard was instrumental in the rapid succession of emperors during this chaotic time. They played a significant role in the deposition of Emperor Nero and the subsequent rise and fall of 3 more emperors within a single year. The Praetorians didn't just guard the emperor, they were a force to be reckoned with, a political entity that could make or break emperors. They had the power to shape the destiny of the Roman Empire, a testament to their far-reaching influence and importance. So they weren't just guards, but influential figures in the political landscape of Rome. They were the unseen hand, the silent whispers that echoed through the marble halls of the imperial palace, shaping history from the shadows. Now, all this responsibility came with its own perks. What were the privileges of the Praetorian Guard? The Praetorian Guard, Rome's crème de la crème, were not just bodyguards and political power players. They were also the beneficiaries of privileges that set them apart from the average legionary. Their service to the emperor, their involvement in the dangerous world of Roman politics, was rewarded with a lifestyle that was far superior to their comrades on the front lines. First and foremost, the Praetorian Guard was paid well. In fact, they received significantly higher salaries than their counterparts in the regular army. This was a reflection of their elevated status and the critical, often treacherous roles they played within the empire. In addition to their higher pay, the Praetorians also served shorter terms of service. A regular Roman soldier was expected to serve for 25 long years. In contrast, a Praetorian Guard's service was usually around a more manageable 16 years. This shorter term of service was another testament to the privileged position they held within the Roman military hierarchy. And let's not forget about their accommodations. Unlike the regular soldiers who often lived in basic camps, the Praetorians resided in comfortable barracks within Rome. These barracks, known as castra praetoria, were more than just a place to rest their heads. They were a symbol of the guard's elevated status and proximity to the heart of Roman power. They were close to the emperor, close to the action, and their living conditions reflected this. Moreover, they also had the privilege of staying within the empire's heart, Rome. While regular soldiers were often stationed in distant provinces, the Praetorian Guard was stationed in Italy, particularly in and around Rome. This allowed them to be close to the hub of Roman power and politics. So it's clear that being a member of the Praetorian Guard wasn't just about power and politics, it was also about the privileges that came with it. The higher pay, the shorter service term, the comfortable living conditions. It was these privileges that often made this position a coveted one among Roman citizens. So where were these guards stationed? Where did they deploy their prowess? Unlike the frontier legions, the Praetorian Guard was stationed primarily in Italy, with a particular emphasis on the city of Rome. Their deployment was strategic, placing them close to the heart of the empire, where they could effectively protect the emperor and his family and maintain a watchful eye over the political machinations of the capital. The Praetorian Guard was not just a military force, it was a political entity. Being stationed in Rome meant they were in the thick of political decision-making. They were the emperor's right hand, his most trusted soldiers, and this proximity to power gave them a level of influence that was unmatched by any other military unit in the Roman Empire. Their deployment was also a symbol of the emperor's power. The presence of the Praetorian Guard in the city was a constant reminder to the Roman citizens of the might of their leader. They were the physical embodiment of the emperor's authority, a visual deterrent to any who might consider challenging his rule. But their deployment wasn't just about power and intimidation. The Praetorian Guard also played a vital role in maintaining law and order in the city. They were involved in policing, ensuring that peace was maintained within the heart of the empire. Their close combat skills and superior equipment were put to good use in this role, helping to keep the citizens of Rome safe and secure. In the grand scheme of things, the deployment of the Praetorian Guard was a strategic masterstroke. It allowed the emperor to keep his most loyal and capable soldiers close, to maintain a tight grip on the reins of power, and to ensure the safety and security of the capital. So, that's the journey of a Praetorian Guard, from selection to deployment, a tale of power, privilege, and protection.